Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Media Row podcast with me, Justin Miller, sponsored by Kelly's Little Nipper and Stevens Automotive and Sales. Happy to be back in this chair with you guys. Hope you had a fun and safe Memorial Day weekend. I know I did. Megan and I, we went mini golfing on Saturday, had some fun with that. Maybe checked one thing off our list that we really wanted to do, chores-wise, and it was hand up accountability, more me convincing her not to do as much cleaning. That's on me because we're going to have to do it now this week, and I can't complain. But we had maybe checked off one thing off our list. Other than that, we relaxed and had a great weekend. I hope you guys did too. But even though it was nice to just not worry about anything and relax at home, watch TV, eat junk food, go out, have some drinks, hang out with some good friends. It does feel good to be back here behind the mic talking some sports with you guys, and we have a lot to get to. I know this is usually the time of the year that is considered slow. My rundown sheet is full, and I don't even have, Travis and Ross to bounce dumb ideas off of anymore. It's just all me. And so, first off, we got a lot of NBA news to get to. We have Anthony Edwards being in the headlines, maybe for not good reason. We'll hit on that. And then from just what I've gathered from social media and from people that I'm close with that really follow the NBA, are true NBA fans, it feels like there's a new fan favorite in the playoffs right now. And so we'll talk about who that is. A historic streak from Caitlin Clark comes to an end, and just will hit on the numbers involved with that, and some numbers really hurting the WNBA overall. And then for you gamer nerds, we'll hit on the College Football 26 cover revealed. I'm one of those gamer nerds. I know when that trailer came out, I was hyped for it. And what's hilarious is, so I knew, me, Sean, Ross, Lucas, all of my buddies, all of us were hyped about this. What made me really crack up was during the Kelly's Little Nipper charity golf tournament a few weeks ago, we had Joe Woodley on our Media Road team, and something brought up the college football game. And he was like, oh yeah, played that constantly. And we're like, oh, no way, coach, really? And he brought up, which a lot of people did, they always told themselves, I'm not going to get a new PlayStation unless a new college football game comes out. And that's exactly what Coach did. And that's exactly why he's going to fit so perfectly coming on this show this fall more frequently. Love Coach Woodley. But before we get to any of our headlines, need to talk and give a shout out to Kelly's Little Nipper, 1701 East Grand Avenue in Des Moines, the historic Kelly's Little Nipper. You can go there, get yourself some deals with using the keyword Hendo to get yourself some cheese balls. Of course, make sure to let them know you heard it here on the Media Row podcast. First sponsor to jump on board with this show, and it's who I wanted. They were people, they're good people, Bulldog faithful, but they love having anyone involved. We're going to talk Caitlin Clark. They have posters of Caitlin Clark everywhere, Iowa Barnstormer stuff everywhere. It's a very fun environment over there at Kelly's Little Nipper. And then, of course, they have great food, great drinks, and even better community. Go check it out at 1701 East Grand Avenue in Des Moines. Kelly's Little Nipper. Make sure to let them know that Media Row sent you. Now, again, I know I just said after that we would get into our headlines. I need to bring or shed something, shed light on something. On Tuesday, I put out a tweet, and it was one of those where I fully got bamboozled. Hand up accountability over here at Media Row. We're not deleting the tweet because I think it's kind of funny, and also, there's no reason to delete it. I'm talking about the mistake now, but it's not the first time. Definitely won't be the last time, I promise you, that I got bamboozled. But I'm over there at Grandview, and I'm mowing the greens and whatever, and I'm filling up gas. And while I'm filling up gas, I always check Twitter just to see, if I'm missing anything. And I see the CBS Sports Network, Twitter logo, everything looks like CBS Sports Network. And it says, the SEC, it's official, leaving the NCAA in 2028-29. So right away, I retweet it, and I'm like, this means the Big Ten is next, right? The two biggest conferences. And a few people were with me where they're like, oh, that would be crazy. Man, the NCAA is falling apart. And then it was JT Nutt, a listener to The Morning Rush, someone who always was able to not shy away from pointing out the mistakes I've made constantly on air, and I appreciate it. And he puts out, he goes, I'm fairly certain this is a fake account. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I click, still not recognizing the @ is nowhere near CBS Sports Network. It's some like dude's name. Click on it. The cover image is like some diss to TCU football. And right away I'm like, oh crap. I got bamboozled. And I'd done that before with, I think a lot of people will know the NBA Central, I think is how you pronounce it. But it's supposed to be the NBA Central Twitter page that always breaks news. It looks exactly like it, and they switch around a few things, and it gets me almost every time. It's got me before, and now I'm still trying to not get bamboozled for a second time by the same person, and I still almost I get excited, like, whoa, did you see? Oh, gotta look closer. And so, yes, hand up accountability, 1,000% my bad. So far, we don't know if the SEC is leaving the NCAA. That's just a rumor we continue to hear. But wanted to make sure I got that out of the way before we move on to today's show. Let's kick it off with some NBA news, and starting off with the Anthony Edwards comments that we heard earlier this week. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I was saying the Timberwolves were the fan favorite team. They're the easiest team to cheer for. And I still am very much so Team Timberwolves. But this makes it a little harder. And I'm very much so still Team Anthony Edwards. But this makes it a little bit harder. So before I get into my takes on it, if you missed it, here is via ESPN Twitter, the post-game response from Anthony Edwards after he had appeared to be a tough night.
I don't look at it like I struggled or he struggled. They had a good game plan, making us get off the ball. Especially for me, man, it was super in the gaps. I made the right play all night, so I don't really look at it like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled, so that might be how you guys look at it. But yeah, I didn't struggle at all. It was just I made the right play.
So Anthony Edwards, in a 2-point loss, comes out and shoots 1 of 7 from deep, only 16 points. And his response, I made the right play all night. And what does ESPN show? ESPN shows that right after he says that, him driving into a double team and getting the shot blocked. I love Anthony Edwards. He is one of the most athletic young stars in the game right now. And he draws attention. And the turnaround he's been able to help create with the Timberwolves is outstanding. Back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances, amazing. But it does not come across in a way that I think most would want to see from a young leader. It doesn't look like he's ready to charge his team back from a 3-1 deficit. And so I went back and I looked at, trying to compare, because we've had guys, Kobe never shied away from, throwing guys under the bus or anything like that. But he had the rings and the stats to, benefit him. And so you've also had guys, though, that have been very much so team-oriented. They're not going to say, man, I just didn't get enough shots up. That's why we lost. No, you're not going to hear that from guys like Tim Duncan, LeBron. You're not going to hear that. And so I went back when LeBron was down 3-1 in the NBA Finals against the Warriors. LeBron very simply was just saying, oh, we know they're a great team and our back's up against the wall. And he said, quote, you can't start the first quarter worried about the third. And you know what? It doesn't sound like Edwards is worried about any quarter. It sounds like he's more just worried about himself. And that's why I think a lot of people, upon hearing that, automatically went, Thunder have this locked. It's over. And you can't help but feel that way. I felt that way. You listen to that and you don't go, oh, here come the T-Wolves. No, you hear that and you go, all right, well, looks like it'll be the Thunder in the NBA Finals. Because you would expect your leader to not talk about his shots. Or if he is talking about his shots, you'd expect him, even if he shot 7 of 9, you always expect them to kind of have that I can be better attitude. And that's not what came across from Anthony Edwards. And again, as I am, really going in depth with Anthony Edwards' comments here, I'm still an Edwards fan. I still think the Timberwolves are a very fun team to watch and are a team that help the NBA as a whole tremendously. But when you have a young leader, when you have someone too who has complained about, I don't want to be the spotlight of the NBA, these comments come back to bite you. I mean, Charles Barkley really went into, talking about him being no longer the face of the league and how he never was. And there is some truth to that, but he is a guy that has that ability, at least for me. And I'd love to hear, so comment on social media or send us a message that what people feel of, I feel like Anthony Edwards is a guy, when I see he's on TV, I kind of slow down. I kind of really pay attention. And there's only been a few athletes that have done that recently in the NBA for me. But as we all talked about, this sounds like a loser mentality. Thunder are going to advance. With Randall and Edwards not putting up their best, the Timberwolves only lost by 2. I think people are kind of skipping over that factor. Yes, they're down 3-1. And yes, for the most part, outside their one victory on, was that Saturday night, that it's looked like the Thunder has really controlled it. Even in a 2-point victory, it felt like the Thunder controlled that game. With your 2 biggest stars putting up one of their worst performances, you only lost by 2. So I would be very interested in hearing what you NBA fans, you listeners, have thoughts on Edwards' comments. To me, it didn't sit well as an Edwards fan because it just feels like you're not willing to ever take blame. Which, was it all on Edwards? No. But you can't say you made the right play all night when you shot 1 of 7. So that's the Edwards side of things. And the Timberwolves are going to come back into play here. As, again, I put out that message, or I think I used it as a social media clip, as saying the Timberwolves are one of the easiest teams to cheer for. They're high-flying offense. You have guys like Edwards. You have veterans like Rudy Gobert, Conley, an underdog team trying to get over that hump of the Western Conference Finals. They beat out the Lakers. They beat out the Warriors. They beat out, the old dogs that were, the faces of the league, the teams to beat in the league at one point. And they're doing that. Now they come across the Thunder, and with the Edwards comments, I think it's flipped around, and I think the Pacers are the brand new fan favorite in these playoffs. And to be clear, with my morning part-time gig over there at the Grandview Golf Course, I do have to pre-record these. So we're not, while filming this, we don't know what the Pacers will do against the Knicks. They have the opportunity to take a 3-1 lead. But it's been a great series, a perfect rivalry series that you want to see. Both teams making huge comebacks to win. You have history between these two squads. And then despite Indiana with the possibility of going up 3-1, neither game feels like a dominant performance with those comebacks, with the lack of defense from Indiana, but at the same point, their amazing depth and offense that they have. And when you have a shooter like Halliburton and all the storylines that follow him that we have bled out on this show. But I think all those stack up into why Indiana is the new fan favorite right now. Looking on social media, people are talking about the Pacers. You turn on Pat McAfee, he's talking about the Pacers. And it doesn't feel like Pacers-Knicks discussions. It feels like Pacers discussions, if that makes sense. And then my buddies who are real, in depth with the NBA, again, me just being a sideline fan, all of them are talking about the Pacers. They're not talking about Edwards. They're not talking about the Thunder. Not talking about the Knicks. They're talking about Indiana and what Halliburton has been able to do and just really the depth of this team. That's the part that I think a lot of people are really excited to watch when they watch an Indiana Pacers game. And then, like you heard from Jake Bren last week, and I'm seeing it all over Twitter, I think a lot of people are loving the style of Halliburton, of him just being a true point guard. Sure, does he have the ability to shoot like Steph Curry? Could he pull up from anywhere on the court and you kind of wouldn't be too upset about the shots? Only a few people can truly do that. And yet he still looks for the extra pass. I think he's a pass-first guard, which is really cool to see in this day and age where it's one-on-one constantly in the NBA. And I think that's drawing attention to their style of play, the way they're coached. Now, with that style of play, while the offensive side of things is so fun to watch, defensive, it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. They could score 128 points a game, but they could easily give up 130. That's my biggest concern. I've said it constantly whenever I talk about this Pacers team. They concern me defensively. So that's why, again, as we're recording this, I have no idea. I don't know what to make of these NBA predictions. Do the Pacers go up 3-1? I don't know. No idea. But I still believe they're the new fan favorite, overtaking a young Thunder squad, overtaking a fun Timberwolves squad, overtaking the popularity of the New York Knicks. It is the Pacers playoffs this year. Moving forward, but of course staying in the basketball lane of things, want to bring up Caitlin Clark. Again, we don't talk a lot of WNBA on this show, but when we do, it's usually about Caitlin Clark. So she had a huge streak snapped, a really impressive streak too, one we don't see very often, and that is just her consistency on the court. And now fans will have to be without seeing Caitlin Clark suit up for 2 weeks as she has a left quad sprain. It will be the first time fans won't get to see Caitlin Clark on the court since her sophomore year at Dowling. Caitlin Clark hasn't missed a basketball game since her sophomore year of high school, and now she'll have to miss 2 weeks. And that alone is a story in itself of just her longevity, her ability to stay healthy, even though she's getting slammed on screens. And yet, I think the story of all of this is just how quickly that news hit and how quickly it affected the WNBA as a whole. So ticket prices dropped 71% right away for the next Fever game. They went from averaging $137 per ticket to now $80. And there's teams that prepared for the Clark Mania and now are getting burned. So Washington, they changed from playing at their regular arena to the CFG Bank Arena, which holds 6,000 more seats. And prior to the injury, the lowest ticket price was $41. It dropped to $14. And then you look at other teams that are upcoming in these 2 weeks. Some ticket prices dropped to as low as $11. And yet, you still have people out there trying to make the claim that Caitlin Clark isn't the face of the WNBA. Those numbers right there prove to you she is the face, and I don't even think it needs to be a debate. It doesn't even need to be stated, but yet, here we are. And it's just been incredible. I saw that, and those numbers came from a USA Today article, and there's more in it. Like I can't go through the whole thing unless you just want me to plagiarize and read it on the show. But go check it out. It is incredible. The numbers, the drop, and that's just ticket prices. I very much so expect a viewership drop as well, TV-wise, which, again, that is something I've never really gone deep into. But now I think I'm going to be doing some researching over these next 2 weeks to just see exactly how far the numbers drop as from the WNBA as a whole. Now having to miss it with a left quad strain, first time since over at Dowling that she is going to miss it, her sophomore year. And again, like, you watch her play, it's not like, she doesn't play hard and she doesn't get fouled and she's not on the floor hustling. She's constantly on the floor, whether it's through fighting through screens, going in for and one layups. So it is just really impressive. But what impressed me more, and maybe this isn't a good thing either, is just the drop. I was almost seeking it out, of trying to figure out what we've heard from, fans in terms of just how many people are going to tune out now that the face of the league is injured for 2 weeks. So again, a really fun show. Want to go through one last topic with you before we finish out today's show. Really appreciate you guys. It was a short week. Gonna have some fun, of course, on Friday to finish out the week, and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the Media Row podcast. Catch us anywhere on social media, anywhere you download podcasts, and of course on YouTube. But to finish up, we'll have some fun with the college football 26 cover athletes being revealed. Jeremiah Smith from my Ohio State Buckeyes and Ryan Williams being your two cover athletes. They have a bunch of other fans, coaches placed around on the cover as well. Here's my thing. I kind of miss when Madden, and Madden still does it, but college football needs to go back just the one athlete. It was really cool when you had the four on, for the first game back since 2014. That's cool. I think now make it special. The Buckeyes won the national title. I know this is going to come off so much as a homer, but the Buckeyes won the national title. Give Jeremiah Smith his own cover. You know what I mean? And if it was reversed, if Williams wins the national title, give him the cover. And I think it just makes it more special. And then, of course, if you want more money, like you're going to get from me here whenever it comes out in July, just do a deluxe edition. And then you put both athletes on the cover. That's what you do. And then you get more money. You want to hire me now, PlayStation? Let me know. I'm available. But overall, again, the game will probably be the same exact game. I know they're bringing back like the Road to Glory where you can play in high school and go up. But overall, it's just going to be college football, Madden. It's all going to be the same. Am I still going to buy it? Hell yes. But I like the cover. I wish they would just bring back the single athlete. Think it'd be cool. Reward the athlete. But there's your stupid headline of the day to wrap up a Wednesday show. Hope you enjoyed the show. Before we wrap up, need to give a shout out to Stevens Automotive and Sales over there at 5320 Northwest Beaver Drive in Johnston, Iowa. Go check them out, and when you do, make sure to let them know Media Row sent you. 3 big keys as to why you should go to Stevens Automotive. Number 1, they've been here for 35 years. They are loyal people. They're going to make sure everything's done right so you are safe, because those are the kind of people you're dealing with. People that don't just bounce around. They've been here and they're staying here in Iowa, and we are very grateful for that. Secondly, communication. Again, that's a big one for me. I want to know exactly what's happening with my car, expectancy of how long it should be. Scheduling is never an issue. They are always there at a drop of a hat to communicate with you, call you, text you. They are available constantly to be able to make sure you are satisfied and you are able to, again, get out on the road safely. And number 3, and the biggest one for me, no BS. They're not going to upcharge you. There are people that are going to fix the problem, but also let you know things down the road that you need to check out, because they want to make sure that your car is ready to go. So go check them out, 5320 Northwest Beaver Drive, Johnston, Iowa. Stevens Automotive and Sales, proud sponsor of the Media Row podcast. Have a good one, guys. We will see you Friday for this week's final edition of the Media Row podcast. Already wrapping up May. We're going to be in June. At a blink of an eye, it's going to be football time. So enjoy this summer. We will get ready to see you guys on Friday.